balloon sinuplasty procedure. And since thousands of our patients can tell you, this simple 20-minute in-office solution really works. Balloon sinuplasty can give you 20/20 breathing so you can breathe freely through both nostrils with your mouth closed day and night. And that can change your life.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
Once you've lived with it, you know there's no comparison. Hydronic heating is the best in comfort. And when it comes to hydronic heating, the man in the red van can do it all with a 96% efficiency modulating heat boiler, slant fin wall-mounted radiating heat, cast iron radiators, or how about in-floor heat that we can even lay in below your new driveway on your new home build, so you never have to shovel. Now we're talking.
You gotta see the man in the red van. Quality heating, quality heating.
So here's why you'd want an Armstrong air heat pump. Consider it a powerful electric backup to your gas furnace that can do the work of your furnace very efficiently. That means lower energy bills. And it has a rock-solid 12-year warranty and can act as an AC unit too. But here's the real gist of it. With all the government tax credits you get, you almost get the darn thing free. So see the man in the red van to get reliable efficiency from an Armstrong air heat pump.
You gotta see the man in the red van. Quality heating, quality heating.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Breaking news as it happens. Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 1 o'clock and 64 degrees in Milwaukee. Today, sunny skies, a high of 65 by the lake, 70 inland. It's beautiful out there. Tonight, clear skies, low of 51 by the lake, 44 inland. And then tomorrow, sunny and mild, high of 70 by the lake, 75 inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Jessica Ty. Florida is bracing for the extremely dangerous Hurricane Milton to make landfall. It's expected to do so overnight. News Nation's Chloe Sparks has the update.
Here at this boat ramp, we are starting to already see the water rise, and I'm even getting a little bit chilly out here, which means that the wind is starting to pick up. Now let's go over here to some trees, because that is one of the concerns here, as we have already had so much destruction, so much rain. These trees are vulnerable to be falling over into roads. You can see the power is still on in this area right now, but it is expected to have a lot of power outages.
Nearly 6 million people live in counties that have mandatory evacuation orders right now. The Wisconsin Supreme Court says the governor's partial veto power is too extreme, but justices admit they're not sure how to rein it in.
The court heard arguments over Governor Evers' use of his veto power when he was able to eliminate a hyphen and a number to lock in a school funding increase for 400 years rather than for one.
It is crazy.
Justice Brian Hagedorn.
We allow governors to unilaterally create law that has not been proposed to them at all.
Justices appear to agree that limits were needed.
That seems extreme. That seems like it shouldn't be able to be done.
But grappled with where to draw the line. Justice Rebecca Dallett.
But then becomes the how.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
The court will issue a written ruling in the coming months. The Dropbox saga in Wausau continues.
This is a hot button item. The agenda was changed late last night.
Not proper. Point of order.
Wausau Mayor Doug Dinney starting what became a contentious Common Council meeting in Wausau Tuesday night. The Wisconsin DOJ is investigating after the mayor removed Wausau's absentee ballot drop box last month. Residents offering views such as,
I stand in support of Mayor Dinney's decision to draw attention to the need to secure the drop box.
Or,
we wouldn't have this issue had you not taken the drop box.
Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
The council did not take up a vote on Tuesday on a resolution to approve funding for adding security to that drop box. The box is currently back in front of City Hall.
We have this body of water that's 15 miles to the east of us, and it's sustainable for the long term if we put the water back. Why don't we look at potentially having that as our source?
That's the general manager of the Waukesha Water Utility. Today marks 1 year since the city of Waukesha transitioned to using Lake Michigan for its drinking water. Dan Dukniak tells the Talkin' Waukesha podcast the focus was sustainability.
Now the residents of Waukesha won't ever have to worry about their water supply again, which is what we wanted at the onset of this. Does it cost more? Absolutely. Is it worth it? It's worth every penny.
More than 2.7 billion gallons of water have been returned to the Fox and Root Rivers in exchange for that water from Lake. Time now for some news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Look at this. We're looking good. Everything's in the green. The Dow is up nearly 360 points to 42,439. The S&P 500 is up 27 points to 5,778. And the NASDAQ is up 60 points to 18,243. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sounding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:04.
This report is sponsored by Uline. Visit uline.com today.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Nagging pain lasting for months, difficulty performing everyday tasks, not moving like you'd like, it's time to see the doctor. And I recommend Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Anytime I've needed care, the appointments are timely, no waiting weeks to be seen, and no pressure to have surgery. It's about getting the right diagnosis and choosing a treatment plan that fits your life. No question where I turn if I'm injured again. The experts in care at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It's orthowisconsin.com.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The practice week begins today for the Green Bay Packers. Wide receiver Romeo Doubs is expected to participate after skipping 2 days of practice last week.
What's done is done, and we're moving forward, and I expect us collectively as a team to continue to move that way.
The Packers welcome the Arizona Cardinals to Lambeau Field on Sunday. It's a noon kickoff. In baseball, there are 4 games on the playoff schedule today. The New York Mets will advance to the National League Championship Series with a win over the Phillies. The San Diego Padres will do the same with a win over the Dodgers. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. I have a good news update for you. I was keeping an eye on this crash in Milwaukee County throughout Wisconsin's midday news. Wisconsin 145 South at West Park Place. Right shoulder was blocked due to a crash. Kind of looked like a bad one. Had a car facing the wrong way off on a ditch. Good news is right now that just cleared, and everything else on the system looking pretty good. Just a couple disabled vehicles that are not impacting traffic.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
Be our eyes on the road. Report accidents, slowdowns, and road conditions to the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen Traffic Tip Line at 414-238-9329.
And here's the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, sunny skies, high of 65 by the lake, 70 inland. Tonight, clear skies will dip down to 51 by the lake, 44 inland. It'll feel a little chilly. Tomorrow, sunny and mild, high of 70 by the lake, 75 inland. Friday, partly cloudy and warm, high of 80. Saturday, partly cloudy and cooler, high of only 64. That's going to be a big change from Friday. On Sunday, we have a high of 59. We also have a chance for scattered showers on Sunday. Other than that, it will be breezy and cool on Sunday. It's currently 63 degrees in Port Washington, 67 in Kenosha, and 64 here in Milwaukee. Sounding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:08.
65,498 square miles. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. This is Spanning the State, and here are your hosts, Kristen Bry and Brian Noonan.
Good afternoon. All right, well, coming up today, Milwaukee has long been plagued with reckless driving. I know, Brian, you're not a fan of the drivers up here.
I'm not a fan of drivers anywhere, but yes, let's we'll count Milwaukee and Wisconsin drivers in with them. Yes,
but car crashes, traffic deaths, car thefts. It's no surprise that Forbes ranked Milwaukee 19th on its list of cities with the worst drivers. If anything, maybe it was a surprise that we weren't higher on that list. But last week, there was an announcement that dismissing reckless driving charges is going to be a thing of the past. Later in this hour, we are going to talk to new city attorney Evan Goyke about what this change could mean for everyone's safety. Then after that, who gets to decide whether or not a mascot changes? And why are some so attached to original mascots in the first place? We will talk about that.
Good question. Then we will, of course, spin the state, and we will talk to a veterinarian from Spring Green who has developed a model that is the first of its kind in the country. So we will talk to him and find out what that means for veterinary care for you and your pets. And we'll find out about the Supreme Court and what they are going to do about this little governor perk, where a governor can just change whatever he wants with the stroke of a pen. And everybody's done it, but this is the Tony Evers issue with 400 years of school funding.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, but coming up first, I mean, I don't know about you, Brian, but all my social media feeds, just the anticipation of what is going to happen tonight when Milton hits Florida and how bad it's really going to be. I was watching, while I was eating lunch just now, I was watching, I don't know which news channel it was, but they did kind of like a digital simulation to show you what 15 feet of water looks like.
I can't imagine.
And, even at 9 feet flooding, it's the first floor, right? So the first floor of every foundation, like the foundation, but then you put 6 more feet on that. And I actually got a little emotional even watching what that must be like, because you don't know what's in the water.
Right.
If you're trapped inside a house, you're done. And there, as far as the news trying to impress upon us how bad this could be, and so I'm just kind of holding my breath of what we're going to wake up to tomorrow. And this is just from the news. This isn't us like actually going through it.
Yes, it's horrible, and I don't think anybody here or anybody who hasn't been through a hurricane can imagine what it's actually like. You figure I'm 6'5", so that's more than 2 of me tall. That this water, a wall of water, and they say that the winds are going to be, depending on what source, from 116 to 130 miles an hour when Milton takes shore, and those are numbers I can't fathom.
I know. I think that's the thing. It's like you can't even really wrap your head around it. At least I can't.
Well, we are going to talk to somebody who has wrapped their head around it twice in 2 weeks, and it's a personal connection to the show. It's my youngest brother, Patrick, who is currently safe with my sister-in-law and their dogs in North Carolina, which is great. But, the second time in 2 weeks they've...
Because where does he live?
He lives in Bradenton Beach, which is on Anna Maria Island. So it's a beautiful barrier island that runs from about an hour south of Tampa down south, and it is in Milton's crosshairs. They are expecting... They took a big hit last week with Helene, and they are expected to take a giant hit tomorrow. So we're going to find out what it's like to have to decide. Imagine having to decide what to take with you when you evacuate, when to evacuate. What about the people who say, no, I'm going to stay? All of that. So we'll talk to Patrick when we come back after this on Spanning the State.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Higginson, Saturday afternoon at 2. Get the most up-to-date financial advice and the freshest thinking on investments, tax strategies, estate planning, and more. You'll learn how our team-based approach at Creative Planning helps ensure all aspects of your wealth are working harder together. Don't settle for anything less than a customized and comprehensive financial plan and portfolio. Give your wealth a second look by going to creativeplanning.com/radio.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. So many of you have told me about your plans for the future. Starting a business, buying a home, retiring near your grandchildren. But prices are too high. So let me tell you what I will do about it as president. I will take on price gouging. I will lower the cost of healthcare insurance. We cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. I'm running to do that for everyone. And I will provide new down payment assistance to first-time home buyers and tax benefits to people who want to start their own business. Donald Trump, well, he wants to give more tax breaks to the wealthy, whereas I will cut taxes for the middle class instead. Because I know working people want to do more than just get by. You want to get ahead, and that's the future you deserve. And that is what I will focus on every day as your president. Paid for by Harris for President.
When you walk into your bathroom, is it turn this into this? With our SiteX Creepiest Tub or Shower Contest. Enter a picture of your creepy tub or shower space at WTMJ.com for a chance to win a brand new complete tub or shower conversion installed at no cost, up to a $10,000 value. Enter your picture by texting creepy to the WTMJ talk and text line. It's the Creepiest Shower Contest, only here on WTMJ.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I'm Kristen Bry.
I'm Brian Noonan. After living in the Midwest with harsh winters and blizzards for years and years, a lot of people, myself included, may fantasize about moving to a tropical island. Doesn't that sound nice? The sun all the time, palm trees, the beach. It sounds great until it isn't. Well, 2 weeks after the western coast of Florida was ravaged by Hurricane Helene, residents are bracing for and running from Hurricane Milton. According to the Weather Channel, Milton will make landfall in Florida as a major hurricane tonight into early Thursday. The storm is going to bring destructive, life-threatening storm surge along the western Florida Gulf Coast, as well as devastating hurricane-force winds. Those will occur near the coast and inland through central Florida. Catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding is possible. And as we watch the coverage, it's hard not to wonder what it would be like to be in those residents' shoes, the people who were actually there and having to make these life and death decisions just for where they chose to live. What do you bring with you? How do you get out? All of that. Well, my youngest brother, Patrick, or as we like to call him normally, number 5, is, because they don't like me to mention their names. Number 5 lives in Bradenton Beach on Anna Maria Island, which is about an hour south of Tampa. It's a beautiful barrier island. His community and that area is estimated to take the brunt of Milton. He joins us now to talk about what it's like when Mother Nature turns violent on you. Patrick, thanks for being here. And I was just telling Kristen, this is the hardest interview I've had to prep for because, one, it's not just facts, it's personal. And I can't imagine what it's like to have to evacuate 2 weeks ago, come back last week to be trying to do cleanup and hearing that you're going to have to go away. What was it like when you were able to get back on the island to your house after Helene?
Hi, Brian, Kristen. Thanks for having me. When we got back on initially, so Helene hit, it'll be 2 weeks this Thursday. Bradenton Beach was hit the hardest. So we had to take the local fishing captains actually took us by boat from the mainland Cortez or Bradenton and boated us over so we could see what our house was. And that's how it was for the Bradenton Beach residents until Monday, where we were able to walk across the bridge. And when we got off the boat at the Broken City Pier on a week ago Friday, it was like devastation, like nothing I'd ever seen before. It was like walking through, almost like, there was like a bomb went off. It was very odd and eerie at the same time.
And so then to turn around and have to leave again, I mean, what are you expecting your house to even be there after this?
I don't know. It's out of my hands at this point. My house, we were lucky enough to build up 5 years ago. So there's a chance, but there's also a chance there couldn't be. It wouldn't be there. So it's just a waiting game to see where it is. I hope it's there, but if it's not there, that's not in the plans, I guess, and we start over.
So when that's horrible to even hear, but when you come back and you're, between Helene and you see all the devastation, and we've all seen the pictures, explain to people, because I've told friends of mine and I've told Kristen and Rhea, our producer, that you literally live right across the street from the Gulf. And one thing that I didn't think of when I first started hearing about storm surge is everything that comes with it. It's not just the water, right?
No, it wasn't just the water. There was sand and sludge and, things that were floating around from different parts of the neighborhood that were in your yard or in your garage or in your house that come along with it. We had pretty good-sized sand dunes that are no longer there. It's just one flat beach that goes from the beach to the road. I live 50 yards from the entrance to the beach, and you used to not be able to see the water standing on the street, and now you can see it clearly.
And so
there was for instance, there's a trailer like the size of a semi-trailer freezer at a restaurant across the street from my house. It traveled 2 blocks by the force of water and lodged into a fence. There were holes in cinder block walls that were blown out by the force of Helene and the storm surge, and that was just 6 to 7 foot storm surge 2 weeks ago.
What are they expecting tonight?
They're currently saying anywhere between 10 and 15 feet.
So there was you did also evacuate for Helene. You didn't stick around for that.
Yeah, no, we evacuated because the warnings the last 2 weeks ago were really eerie about storm surge. We've been told about storm surge before, but haven't gotten it. But the officials and the news, especially our government officials, were telling us to leave. And, we made a pact when we have a mandatory evacuation that we would leave the island. And so we left. I left Wednesday evening last week before Helene.
And then when did you leave for Milton?
I left my house. I turned off my breakers and my main breaker at 11:30 on Sunday night when I saw a post from Cortez, Florida, which is right across the bridge from me. It's the last commercial fishing village, that the paramedics and the firemen were going door to door, knocking on the door, telling people to leave tonight or by 8 o'clock Monday morning because they feared that flooding would start from the rain. So I left 11:30 on Sunday night.
We see pictures now of people who were trying to evacuate. How bad was it for you?
It took me, I made it on Monday I was located in Lakewood Ranch, which is about 15 miles inland, to Savannah. It took me 11 hours, which usually takes between 5 to 6 hours. It took me 6 hours to go 115 miles on I-75. It was so slow that I had food in the car and I was able to make a ham and cheese sandwich actually sitting in traffic on I-75.
It's good to have priorities.
Yeah.
And so
but you didn't want to get off.
What is the is there directions on where to even go? Because I've seen that there's now surging in flights, right? Like flights from out of Tampa were double what they usually are. And obviously but it's like, is there even help for people who don't have family elsewhere on where they should be going?
Yeah, so the county opens up shelters inland where you can get away. So if you don't have the ability to get out, they do have that. They had buses running from Anna Maria Island. There was Uber gives you free rides to shelter at this time. So there are shelters inland and higher ground to get you to if you can't. The governor doesn't allow the hotels to not allow pets. So most hotels are all supposed to allow pets to go to. They tell you really just to get out of the cone. If you see the cones that they show, they say get out of there because you don't know where it can turn. Like we don't know where it'll hit land now. It could turn, anywhere between 50 to 60 miles at this point.
We've heard the terms you mentioned, mandatory evacuation. I know there's also voluntary evacuations. What's the difference, and what makes somebody stay if there's even a mandatory evacuation?
So I'll answer the first one. Mandatory evacuation is issued by the county level and then the cities, and what that means is they're telling us to leave, but they can't force you to leave. But with a mandatory evacuation, when the storm hits, they have to pull the first responders off the island, and they can't send them out to help you. So if they give a mandatory evacuation order and you decide when the storm comes through, I need help, they won't come and help you because they can't put people in harm's way.
Yeah, we told you.
In regards to that. And that's when, the reason why people stay is, it's like the boy who cried wolf. They've been there and they're like, this isn't going to hit me. It's not going to happen this time. And for, Anna Maria Island and that area, Cortez, we hadn't seen a major storm like this, and people have different beliefs that it's not going to hit. And so they always thought that it wouldn't impact us. And we learned from Helene that, no one's immune if you're on the coast. It's just when's your time coming?
Well, you were telling me earlier a story of one of your neighbors who decided to stay last time but has made a different decision for Milton.
Yes. So he lives down the street from us, and at 6 o'clock for Helene, they decided to leave, and they were in a really large pickup truck, and their truck stalled around the corner from my house. And when he told me the story, I was experiencing that this individual was fearing that he was going to die. He told how there were 6-foot waves crashing into his truck. They rolled down the passenger side, and they were trying to get to our house, which is a block and a half away. They couldn't do it. They had to crawl out the passenger windows and swim a half a block down the street and stand on our library because it's elevated until the storm passed, and then waded their way off the island at about 4 in the morning. So that was 6 to 7 foot storm surge. That one was.
Oh, so Patrick, a lot of the. Oh, go ahead.
And the storm passed us 100 miles offshore.
That was 100 miles away, and you got that kind of storm surge?
Yes.
So as far as the communication, because I think a lot of for us up here, right, as we're watching both the news about the storm itself, but also the response to Helene, what the response to Milton might be like from FEMA, from different government entities. What has the communication been like on the receiving end of assistance, resources, and just like what to do next?
So we receive a lot of our notification through social media. Our local police department, Bradenton Beach Police Department, has been very good, giving us communications in regards to it. We were also fortunate that Governor DeSantis came, well, not too fortunate because you never want the governor by your house after the storm, but he was 10 blocks from my house the Saturday after Helene, and he dedicated Florida Department of Transportation to get the main road fixed and to clear all of our streets of sand for that. So to put it in perspective, I'm from the upper Midwest like this, and we all know what snow looks like when it's plowed on the side of the streets, big mounds, 12, 15-foot mounds. We had that as sand after Helene on the sides of the roads. But the sand doesn't melt, unlike the storm, the snow. And then also, in addition to that, the governor was very helpful in giving FDOT to clear the debris. They worked as hard as they could, but there was so much debris on the roads, they couldn't get it all. And then local groups helped us as well. So the Salvation Army was around the corner from us because we didn't get power back in my house till Thursday. Some people still didn't get it back before they'd evacuate it again. And so there was no food, and you couldn't drive over to the island until Thursday where I lived. So the Salvation Army was out there giving us food and supplies and cold drinks, and there was another restaurant on the pier called Anna Maria Oyster Bar that was giving us food because however we were getting over to the island, we depended on people helping us.
Yeah.
So the local government's been really good. The state government. I saw FEMA. FEMA was on the ground in my neighborhood Tuesday and Wednesday, the first response team. There's a trailer park at the end of my block on the island, and they set up in their clubhouse to assist with people. I know people have already had the inspections done by FEMA. I don't know what the results have been, but all the government agencies are pulling together to help.
Perfect. Before we let you go, Patrick, is it worth it? Is living on a tropical paradise worth this?
If you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said 100%. If you would have asked me on Saturday before we knew we had to leave, I'd say yes. I still think it is. It's the price you pay. We know it. People are going to say, well, he decided to move down there. That's something you do. We do, but it's still, until it actually hits you, it never really sinks in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's worth it. And, 99% of the time, a lot of people would like to be in our situation. It's just this 1% of the time that people are like, oh, I'm glad I didn't move down there.
Well, I'm glad you and Colleen and the Hounds got out of there, and stay safe. And we're all thinking about you and everybody on not only Anna Maria Island, but that whole area. Thanks again, Patrick. I'll talk to you later.
You're welcome. Thanks.
All right, let's do this, and there's more. It's Spanning the State.
If you missed this,
I just think it's a terrible thing and it's unethical. If you're in the position to interview the President of the United States, you need to ask him legitimate questions, not stuff that's provided.
Or this.
And we know if they come on, it may be the last time they ever come on, and that's okay.
That's okay. That's right. If the White House gets pissed off because I don't ask their questions,
probably they will.
And they say he's never going to be available again. Okay, at least I can go to sleep at night knowing that I did my job the right way.
Yeah, I mean, it stinks, but sure.
I could live with that.
Yep.
Check out Wisconsin's Afternoon News, the podcast.
Debbie Lazaga here for Kohler Services. If you need a bath or shower remodel, turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. This month only, get zero interest financing for 12 months and a free shower door with your Luxtone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote, with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Hey, have you heard? We are inviting you to participate in the WTMJ Fall 2024 Fan Survey. It takes less than 10 minutes to complete, and we want your feedback. So if you want to participate, please just text the word survey to the WTMJ talk and text line at 855-616-1620, and we will send a link to you. As a thank you for your participation, once you complete the survey, you will be entered to win a package that includes $2 2024-25 regular season game tickets and an overnight stay at the Pfister. What are you waiting for? Well, this is only going to be, I think, the rest of this week.
Yeah, that's it.
So text survey now, 855-616-1620. ABC News and local headlines are next.
This is a special report from ABC News. Hurricane Milton. I'm Michelle Franzen. Florida residents and tourists who did not evacuate now being told to begin sheltering as Hurricane Milton barrels towards Florida's Gulf Coast. Landfall now less than 12 hours away, but the outer bands of the massive storm already moving in. ABC's Ginger Z is in Fort Myers tracking Milton.
It is still a Cat 4, but now the winds are down to 130 miles per hour. That's kind of on the lower end, which is something to say. It is still cruising at north-northeast at 16 miles per hour, but they added that little northerly component, so we'll be watching those little wobbles throughout the afternoon before it makes landfall.
Governor
tonight.
Ron DeSantis says along with storm surge and flooding, the winds will also knock out power across the state.
If you are in the path of this storm, you are most likely going to lose power. So just prepare for that.
President Biden says he's directed all federal resources to the region, from food, water, and extra ambulances. This is ABC News.
Saudi Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:31. We Energy's workers from southeastern Wisconsin are headed to Florida right now to help with Hurricane Milton. More than 24 workers hit the road this morning. They left from Racine. The crews are responding to a call for help as utilities down south prepare for power outages and storm damage. We Energy's sister utility, WPS, is also sending about 25 workers to help in Florida. They left from Green Bay this morning. Both groups also sent workers to help restore power following Hurricane Helene. And listen to that. Those crews, they're still down there right now, and they'll help with Milton, too. A former pastor pleads not guilty in a case connected to intimate photos. 41-year-old Gabriel Mills made his first court appearance today on 2 felony charges. He's accused of transferring intimate photos. Mills was a pastor at Journey Church in Kenosha when investigators say he borrowed the victim's phone, scrolled to intimate photos of the victim, then sent the photos to his phone without consent. A Sussex woman is now charged with a felony after her 15-month-old daughter died of a fentanyl overdose. 34-year-old Alita Tejeda faces 1 count of child neglect causing death. Deputies were dispatched to her apartment in May as Tejeda found her daughter blue and not breathing. Despite life-saving measures at the hospital, the toddler died an hour later. Deputies found a large amount of drug paraphernalia throughout that apartment. Time for news about your money now. Here's a look at the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Let me take a peek. We're still looking good. Everything is in the green. Dow was up 345 points to 42,424. S&P 500 is up 31 points to 5,781. And the NASDAQ is also up almost 90 points to 18,272. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We're doing pretty good. Couple disabled vehicles out of the system that aren't causing many problems, but I do want to let you know about this that just popped up minutes ago. DOT is letting us know that Wisconsin 175 South at the ramp from Wisconsin Avenue, you can expect some lane closures coming up due to some debris on the road. Once again, some debris on the road. They're going to have to get some crews out there to clean it up. That's 175 South at the ramp from Wisconsin Avenue. And here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast today. It's beautiful out there. Sunny skies, high of 65 by the lake, 70 inland. Tonight, we'll have clear skies and dip down to 51 at the lake, 44 inland. That's going to be brisk. You're going to feel that change. Tomorrow, sunny and mild, high of 70 by the lake, 75 inland. Friday, partly cloudy, warm, high of 80. And then it will be a big change in the temperatures, too. Friday, high of 80. Then we'll go to a high of 64 on Saturday. Sunday, high of 59. We also have a chance for some scattered showers on Sunday. It's currently 66 degrees in Racine, 64 now in Port Washington, and 64 here in Milwaukee. I'm Jessica Ty. Sunny Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:34.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, owner of Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage. I get that most home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting pre-approved, but that's probably a mistake because banks have a lot of overhead, like branches, fancy headquarters, and layers of management. That means their closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 higher than AccuNet's for exactly the same rate. And that's not all. Bank pre-approval letters are usually weak and unconvincing, especially compared to AccuNet's rock-solid, fully verified pre-approval that provides a $2,000 guarantee to you and the seller. Our senior loan consultants will also look at every possible way to strengthen your offer and pre-approval in the eyes of that seller, especially if you're offering over the asking price. We even call the listing agent to reinforce what a great buyer you are. Banks don't do all that. Click on the blue button today at AccuNet.com and let our passionate mortgage pros help you win while you save a bunch of money, too. That's ACCUNET.com.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Since 1955, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. Hey, don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geis today. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget. They'll even build custom designs to meet your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to GeisDoors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield featuring hundreds of doors and openers and their custom design room.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Happy fall! WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattress. Built Right's 96th anniversary mattress celebration on now. Their one location saves you time and money, and they make it easy to shop and easy to buy. Built Right beats any big box, national, or local chain store, department store, employee-free store, online retailer, or warehouse club because they have the guaranteed lowest prices. Built Right also has the best value, selection, service, and experienced team in Wisconsin. More than 60 models and 500 mattresses in stock. Choose from the best mattress brands. Made in the USA, Heirloom, Gold Bond, Therapeutic, Restonic, and Schiffman. Built Right specializes in hard-to-find, flippable, two-sided, and heavy-duty mattresses. They can hold up to 600 pounds. Plus, Built Right offers free delivery and removal on mattress purchases of $7.99 or more. Built Right always saves you money. Shop Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, they're closed to be with family. Tell them Vinny sent you to Built Right at 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
It is Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristen Bry. And one of the fair criticisms, I would say, of Milwaukee is the reckless driving.
I would agree. Driving around Milwaukee every day, yes, a lot of reckless driving. I plead the fifth on my end, but...
between car crashes, traffic deaths, car thefts, it's no surprise that Forbes ranked Milwaukee as 19th on its cities with the worst drivers. So last week, though, maybe some good news. There was an announcement that dismissing reckless driving charges is going to be a thing of the past. Milwaukee's new Milwaukee City Attorney, Evan Goyke, announced that his office is no longer going to dismiss or amend reckless driving charges. And Evan Goyke joins us now.
Still new. I'm gonna.
How long do you hold on to the new title? Because it's been since April,
keep saying
right?
It, right? I mean, you're in the studio. You said new, so I'm gonna own it for another couple weeks. I appreciate the extension. Now, I was new since April, so yeah, less new, and we're excited to. It's sad to make this announcement, right? It doesn't. I said in a press conference announcing it doesn't give me great joy to do this, but it's a fact that mirrors the reality that you said in your prompt that we have unsafe roads and we got to do something about it.
Why? Oh, I'm sorry. Why would it? Why would that be bad news?
Well,
yeah,
there are stiff penalties for reckless driving. The citation in municipal court for a first offense is $898, a 6-point violation. So that's a lot of money and a lot of points, and it could force someone to lose their license. And part of the design of this announcement and this new policy is that a second or subsequent offense is now a criminal action punishable up to a year in jail. And I just say the point is to make safer streets. I wish we could do that without citing and fining people or incarcerating people. But the truth is there's a small subset of individuals that repeat and reoffend, and we've got to have tougher penalties because what we've been doing hasn't been working.
And so I guess what was the reason behind not doing this? Why was the stance prior to this of dismissing, amending, and
so in general, and this is not unique to Milwaukee, it's kind of any court, the justice system on a daily basis, plea negotiations are kind of a fact of life, whether you're in criminal or municipal court. We do not negotiate, dismiss, or reduce drunk driving tickets. First offense is municipal. We do not negotiate, reduce, or dismiss speeding tickets that are 30 miles an hour or more. But then on kind of everything else, we have a policy where we take into account the individual defendant as they present themselves to court, and that is true with most alleged crimes and individuals that come forward. The impetus of this policy and this announcement really stems from a state legislative action creating greater penalties for that state crime or second or subsequent offense, reckless driving. So you start to take a look. I get elected, I get sworn in. You start to take a look at the system and what role we in the city attorney and municipal court play. We're critical. If you don't get a first offense, reckless driving, you can't be prosecuted for a second. And so when the state legislature increased these penalties, they also made the utility of the state law easier to use by eliminating a look-back period.
And what is that?
Previously, you would have to have a second or subsequent reckless driving conviction within 4 years. Okay. So theoretically, you could have a driver drive reckless, get convicted, wait 4 years and a day, and get a second first, and not be subject to the heightened criminal penalties. Well, that look-back period is gone, and so that was kind of an inspiration to start looking, well, what are we doing internally to make sure that individuals that continue to drive reckless are subject to these heightened penalties?
Just to clarify, where's the line between an infraction that's just a ticket and then reckless driving?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm glad you asked. It's reckless driving. We're talking about an actual state statute, 346.62 sub 2. And
to
it is.
Exact. Sound like a lawyer.
You're going to look it up. Yeah, let's get nerdy. Let's get nerdy. That's my role. That's my job. And it's defined as negligent driving that places people or property at at risk and at danger. So it's fact specific. It's not 21 miles or greater. It's not necessarily blowing a red light or weaving in and out of traffic. It could be all of that, depending on the conditions. And what we're working with, part of this announcement was with the Milwaukee Police Department to identify and issue those citations. Our office can only prosecute the citations that are written. And what part of this announcement is that the Milwaukee Police Department internally will be writing more of those citations. They have some discretion. They could write 25 mile an hour over the speed limit speeding ticket, or they could issue a reckless driving citation. And what they are doing now is having greater emphasis in writing the reckless driving citation, and then we're going to go for the conviction.
And so how does this, because it can apply to a lot of different people. There are adults, there are juveniles, and there are people, both adults and juveniles, who do not have a license. And so how does this play out depending on who the driver is and their demographic?
Yeah, so juveniles are considered adults for driving infractions. So a 15-year-old that's prosecuted under this law in municipal court is treated like an adult. We do not have that further liability where the parents of that teenager are responsible. At least not in the criminal legal system. We want to make sure we are using this tool. This is a heavy hammer, right? That, like I said, it's 6 points plus $898, and a second offense could be jail time. So, again, we don't use it lightly. We're really trying to target and apply it to the circumstances in which people are really put at risk, where it's really unsafe.
Is there, and I can already hear some people saying, well, if we're leaving the ticket writing up to just law enforcement, how much wiggle room is there then? Like you were mentioning, if I'm speeding on a road where there's no other traffic, that would seem to me like a speeding ticket. But maybe the officers had a bad day. Maybe I say something that's going to upset that officer. Do you worry about the danger, or is that when it comes to court, that's where you step in and go, okay, this one doesn't meet that criteria?
Right. Internally, I wrote a memo and disseminated it to my lawyers where if there is an argument like the facts that you've presented where some form of reduced penalty is necessary, I'm going to have to sign off on it. I want to know those facts. Generally, your commentary about the police, they have the greatest discretion of any criminal justice actor because they're out there, right? They are the eyes and ears that are seeing this. What has been directed to the police department was done in consultation with our office and our lawyers to try to outline what those facts are to have a provable, sustainable conviction. Because this isn't going to just be issued willy-nilly.
Right,
We got to go to court and prove it. So we need the evidence to be there. In your example, you're right. I mean, 25 miles an hour over at a time and place on a large roadway with no one present might not fit the definition of reckless driving. That same speed in a neighborhood on a side street near a school with kids present is reckless.
100%.
And certainly the police are well trained to make those judgment calls, and we have helped guide them by providing what is the facts and elements necessary in municipal court to sustain a conviction.
Well, final question, and I don't even know if this is under your purview, but there's a lot of efforts. Obviously, your office is now going to have harsher penalties. There's impounding vehicles. There's educating drivers. I think you can't drive through Milwaukee without seeing a bunch of bump outs and redesigning the streets. Yeah. So where do you think the biggest impact is going to come?
It is, in my opinion, in all of the above. Okay. For me, what I'm afraid is a new generation of drivers that learn only that it's okay to drive recklessly. So for me, it's what breaks the cycle. And the reality is, Kristen, I am passionate and supportive of everything you just mentioned. Yeah. It's driver's ed, it's safer roads, it's better accountability and prosecution, and it's really this shared announcement that this is done. We're done. The next generations, if you're 13, 14, 15, and you're starting to dream of getting that license and driving like I was as a young person, that the rules and expectations are that you're going to drive safe.
And
All
when
right.
you hit people in the pocketbook, that sends a sends a big message.
That's right.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll give you new Milwaukee City Attorney for the rest of 2024.
Okay, next
How's
time,
that?
Nick, thank
How's
you.
that?
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
you're the
take
rest
it.
of the year.
All
Next
right.
year, you're old news.
They're
All
gonna
right,
be
Evan
grizzled
Goike.
veteran.
So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Stay tuned for more on Spanning the State.
I'm Rick.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Monica.
We're hoping to meet you in Kenosha where I-94 meets Highway 50.
On the southwest corner, you'll see a brand new building.
And it's huge.
Kessler's Diamonds is known throughout the Midwest for our amazing selection of engagement rings.
The sparkle of our diamonds.
Our lifetime trade-up policy on natural diamond stud earrings.
The construction of our diamond tennis bracelets.
Our incredibly customer-friendly pricing.
And the strongest jewelry warranty in the entire world.
She's not making that up. We're famous for our warranty.
Read it to them, Rick.
If you bought it at Kessler's, it's guaranteed. It's just that simple. Even if you lose a diamond, including the center stone, we'll replace it. All maintenance is free forever. Yes, it really is that miraculous.
Kessler's is 100% employee-owned.
Walk through our doors and you'll be greeted by one of the owners.
And we can do whatever it takes to make you happy.
Kessler's Diamonds is at the southwest corner of I-94 and Highway 50 in Kenosha. Come see us.
Annex Wealth Management. Investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning from a fee-only fiduciary. Forget commission sales pitches and financial products you don't need. Know the difference. Annex provides elite, comprehensive financial planning customized to who you are and what you need. AnnexWealth.com.
When is the last time you paid less but got more in return? It happens every day if you or a loved one has Medicare Advantage. $0 copays and an average of $2,500 less out-of-pocket annually, but more benefits like dental, hearing, and vision. More prevention and screenings to keep people healthy. More care for less money. No wonder 33 million seniors choose Medicare Advantage. Visit MedicareAdvantageMajority.org to learn more. Paid for by Medicare Advantage Majority.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes senior living at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from Three Pillars resident Lola.
When I was new, I come in and sit down, and people join me. And you get to know people, talk about feeling welcome. Art class is first early in the morning. Right now, I'm also involved in being a production assistant with a theater group. Every month, they have a supper club with a different theme. First one that I went to, they had a luau. I am so lucky to have ended up in this place that I think it's one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Schedule a tour today at threepillars.org.
Any exterior remodeling company can give you a lot of good reasons to get a new roof, siding, windows and doors, or masonry work. Aesthetic appeal alone or just resale value help it all make sense. But I'm compelled to continue to tell you what sets Semper Fi apart from the rest. What you're going to get from Semper Fi is a reputation that is backed by an undeniable stack of proof that we are who we say we are. Our character is guided by a level of trust and accountability which not only holds our teams together, but also keeps our reputation intact. And ultimately, that means leaving you satisfied. So when you're about to make that big investment in your home, isn't that what you want? This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
It's Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristen Bry. And I never really have gotten a big dog in the fight when it comes to mascots.
Right.
But
because you went to where Berkeley's mascot is what?
My high school was the Regents.
Oh.
And Berkeley's the Bears.
Okay.
And so yeah, like I've never gone to a place that has a controversial mascot, so I don't know what it's like to be very attached to a mascot that is controversial. And yet I don't think I'm attached to anything so much that I would be like heartbroken if it were to change.
Well, that's happening in Berlin, the Berlin School District, because officials are trying to change the Indian mascot, which over the last decade has become a real hot button thing. I remember friends of mine who went to University of Illinois, and they had Chief Alinawek. And, oh man, when the university got rid of the chief, you would have thought that they had kidnapped their moms. It was horrible. And it comes down to the question, if you're not part of a group, do you have a right to say what offends that group? So if I'm not Native American, am I able to go, no, look at an Indian mascot, we're honoring your heritage and blah, blah, blah. I don't think I get that right. In fact, I know I don't get that right.
It's kind of like when certain groups reclaim derogatory terms. And it's like, I get to use that word. You don't get to use that word.
Right. And so it all started last year because a custodian at one of the schools who was Native American and another parent went to the board and said, hey, this is kind of offensive that you're using this mascot. And they didn't do anything. And then word got out and this custodian was booed at a football game and jeered and ended up having to leave the district. And so now they're trying to figure out what to do because this is tribal leaders from all over are saying, no, you can't use us as entertainment.
Yeah.
Because the word mascot, if I may Ron Burgundy you for just a moment, is from the Spanish mascota, meaning pet.
But also, as Halloween is coming,
oh boy,
it's a good reminder that other people's cultures are not a costume.
That's true. I as a kid, I was a big fan of the Frito Bandito. Now, I understand I am not Hispanic, and that would be offensive to me now. That's why they took away the little erasers in the Fritos bags. And I'm fine with that.
It's a reference I don't know.
Well, sure, because you know why? Because Frito-Lay became, they went woke, but they didn't go broke, because you can still get Fritos everywhere.
Frito Taco.
Exactly. All right, let's do this, and then we'll spin the state after the news here on Spanning the State.
Throughout history, some people have been born into greatness because of their name or family. Others gained greatness because of their actions. On Wisconsin's Morning News, we celebrate everyday heroes, the John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they woke up one morning they'd be saving a life. Everyday Heroes, Thursday at 6:40 on Wisconsin's Morning News. Presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. So many of you have told me about your plans for the future. Starting a business, buying a home, retiring near your grandchildren. But prices are too high. So let me tell you what I will do about it as president. I will take on price gouging. I will lower the cost of health care insurance. We cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. I'm running to do that for everyone. And I will provide new down payment assistance to first-time home buyers and tax benefits to people who want to start their own business. Donald Trump, well, he wants to give more tax breaks to the wealthy, whereas I will cut taxes for the middle class instead. Because I know working people want to do more than just get by. You want to get ahead, and that's the future you deserve. And that is what I will focus on every day as your president. Paid for by Harris for President.
In this real estate market, you need an aggressive real estate agent. Milwaukee Realty pays for client home inspections and well inspections for their buyers and sellers. That's aggressive. Ask your favorite agent if they will, and then call Milwaukee Realty.
Dreaming of a home renovation? J&J Contractors has been turning houses into dreams for over 40 years. From stunning kitchens and luxurious bathrooms to finished lower levels, they handle complete renovations that elevate your space. And don't forget about the outside. J&J Contractors specialize in roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Schedule your free consultation today. Just Google J&J Contractors or call 414-423-9200. J&J Contractors. Welcome home.
A cancer diagnosis shouldn't mean we can't make plans. It shouldn't mean living without joy or optimism. Cancer shouldn't be calling the shots. At the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Network, we're pushing to put cancer in its place by pulling together teams of leading specialists and researchers who work tirelessly for breakthroughs, who are developing innovative ways to treat every cancer, to treat your cancer. And by providing the largest cancer clinical trials treatment program in Wisconsin, so there are more treatment options and more reasons to be hopeful. So let's keep innovating. Let's keep discovering. Let's push to make every cancer diagnosis a story of survivorship and bring back the lightness of life that cancer takes away. To learn more about breakthrough cancer care, visit Froedtert.com/cancer.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Sometimes people change, and not always for the better. Take Senator Tammy Baldwin. What happened? She's been in D.C. for 25 years. Extreme left-wing groups have showered her with campaign cash, and now she's siding with them. Baldwin supported puberty blockers and sex change surgeries for minor children in Wisconsin. That's extreme. And Baldwin supports forcing women's domestic violence shelters in Wisconsin to admit biological men who claim to identify as women, making survivors of domestic violence sleep in the same building as men. That's just cruel. Tammy Baldwin used to share our values, but a quarter century in Washington has made her just too extreme for Wisconsin. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community, and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers trained to keep the power flowing, engines running, and in every other trade needed to accomplish the mission. These soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
So what do you think of WTMJ?
You can't handle the truth!
No, we absolutely do want your honest feedback.
Hit me with it. Just give it to me straight.
You listen to WTMJ, you should have a say. It only takes 10 minutes to complete the Fall 2024 fan survey. As a thank you for your valuable feedback, you'll be entered to win a package including 2 Bucks tickets and an overnight stay at the Pfister. Simply text the word survey to the WTMJ talk and text line, 855-616-1620.
Protect mom's assets, protect your assets. Call Krause Estate Planning, estateplanningpeople.com.
Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It is 2:01. I'm Julia Fellows. 65 degrees right now in Milwaukee. Tonight, clear skies, 44 inland, 51 at the lake. Tomorrow, sunny and mild, 70 at the lake, 75 inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, your top story, Florida residents fleeing Hurricane Milton, packing hotels up north. CBS News, Allison Keyes.
I'm a Florida boy, so, I've never evacuated.
But this time, Ryan George is getting out of Dodge with his pregnant wife and their cats.
They're not having a good time of it.
Tens of thousands are heeding evacuation warnings, but some residents insist they will be safe staying put. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
The Wisconsin Supreme Court says the governor's partial veto is too extreme, but the justices admit they are not sure how to, quote, rein it in.
The court heard arguments over Governor Evers' use of his veto power when he was able to eliminate a hyphen and a number to lock in a school funding increase for 400 years rather than for one.
It is crazy.
Justice Brian Hagedorn.
We allow governors to unilaterally create
law that has not been proposed to them at all.
Justices appear to agree that limits were needed.
That seems extreme. That seems like it shouldn't be able to be done.
But grappled with where to draw the line. Justice Rebecca Dallett.
But then becomes the how.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
The court will issue a written ruling in the coming months. Wausau Dropbox saga continues.
This is a hot button item. The agenda was changed late last night.
Not proper. Point of order.
Wausau Mayor Doug Dinney starting what became a contentious Common Council meeting in Wausau Tuesday night. The Wisconsin DOJ is investigating after the mayor removed Wausau's absentee ballot drop box last month. Residents offering views such as,
I stand in support of Mayor Dinney's decision to draw attention to the need to secure the drop box.
Or,
we wouldn't have this issue had you not taken the drop box.
Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
The council did not take up a vote yesterday on a resolution to approve funding for adding security to the drop box. It's currently still in front of City Hall. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the green. Dow up 343, S&P 500 up 29, NASDAQ up 81. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 2:03.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
When your car or truck needs service, you should take it to a specialist. I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. At a member, new car dealers have factory warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians. Plus, their prices are as low or lower than independent shops, even on routine things like oil changes and tire service. Knowing all that, why would you ever consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris chat with Bucks legend Junior Bridgman. Find Here District now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Practice week begins today for the Packers, and wide receiver Romeo Doubs is expected to participate after skipping 2 days of practice last week.
What's done is done, and we're moving forward, and I expect us collectively as a team to continue to move that way.
And Packers welcome the Arizona Cardinals to Lambeau Field Sunday for a noon kickoff. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic. Heads up on 43 North. It's closed at Port Washington Road and Fox Point because of an incident. I usually can see the streams at 43 at Brown Deer Road and 43 at Mequon, but the DOT has taken those streams down, so be careful. Maybe just take Port Washington Road up and down if you need to go. And right before you'd get to the interchange to get on 94 by AmFam, Highway 175 South, the ramp from Wisconsin Avenue, they have a lane closure because there's debris on the road. And in Fond du Lac, I-41 South at Highway 151, the right shoulder is currently blocked at this time. Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, clear skies, 51 at the lake, 44 inland. Thursday, sunny and mild, a high of 72 degrees. Friday, partly cloudy, warm, a high of 80. Saturday, partly cloudy, cooler, high of 64. Sunday, chance of scattered showers throughout the day. It's going to be breezy, a high of 59. Right now in Madison, it's 66 degrees, Waukesha, 65 degrees, and 58 in Green Bay. Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 2:07.
It's time to take a spin around Wisconsin and find stories you might have missed. Here's Spinning the State on Spanning the State with Kristen Bry and Brian Noonan.
Yes, we pay attention to stories everywhere, but mostly in Wisconsin, and there are a lot of them. You may have missed some you may have heard before, but either way, we give you the details. And if you want more details, text SPIN 855-616-1620, and we'll give them to you. Kristen, are you ready?
I am.
All right, well, I am not because my mouse is not working.
You want me to do it?
Nope, there we go.
You got to spin it?
Yep.
All right.
Wausau.
All right, Wausau. I feel like there's some sound that's been circulating in the top and bottom hour of the news, but the ongoing saga of the Wausau's mayor and the Dropbox added another chapter last night. You'll recall that Mayor Doug Deeney had removed the Dropbox that was located outside the clerk's office. That led to investigations, allegations, and Mayor Deeney putting forward a resolution requesting $3,000 to fund Dropbox security. The mayor's resolution asked for authorization of the funds to buy another spotlight to aim at the Dropbox and to replace an outdated surveillance camera aimed at the front door of City Hall. According to the Wausau Daily Herald, the funding resolution replaced the mayor's original resolution of the, quote, use of the clerk's office Dropbox to collect absentee ballots. The mayor said the reason he changed the resolution from the use of the box to funding for security was because he had gotten a sense from conversations with alderpersons through the week that they would not support the original resolution. He was right. The Common Council passed on considering the resolution at their meeting last night. I actually think the headline from Wausau Daily Herald was Wausau's mayors ask for Dropbox security funding receives zero support from Common Council.
Zero.
And so before the meeting, a protest and a counter-protest took place outside a city hall. Protesters were reportedly loud, but largely civil and respectful. So there's that.
Okay, we'll take that from the saga, and I'm sure this will continue right through November 5th.
It sounded a little heated.
That audio was great.
The City Hall, Wausau City Hall right now seems like probably some awkward run-ins at the
Hi,
water
Bob.
fountain right now. Yeah.
Hey, Doug. How are you? Fine. All right. Let's spin it again.
Oshkosh.
Well, this is right up your alley, Kristen. There is no business like show business, even if that show business is in Oshkosh. That's right. If you're a singer, which we've discussed before, or a musician, and I misread this at first, I thought it said magician, and I was like, how is a magician involved in this? But no, it's singers or musicians. Grab your sheet music and instrument and head to the Oshkosh Arena October 20th, because the Oshkosh Herd, that's the Bucks G League franchise, is the latest team holding auditions to perform the national anthem. Yes. Candidates have to perform the entire anthem in its entirety to be considered.
Got to make sure you hit all those notes.
That's right. We not, say, can you see? And then you kind of, no, you got to do the whole thing. Do you want to do the Canadian national anthem? Sure, they'll let you do that one too. That's fine. The Herd is scheduled to play 24 games at the Oshkosh Arena this season, so think of all the people that will admire you. The open call auditions will be at the arena from 1 to 2 p.m. October 20th. They must not be expecting that many folks. Candidates can register online or on site, and they will audition in the order in which they arrive. They're open to singers and musicians of all ages, but if you are a wee one under 18, you need permission from your parents or legal guardians. No, you're not going to go up to Oshkosh?
I am not. Well, no, because I'm not going to drive up to Oshkosh. Even if I was good enough to get it, I'm going to drive up to Oshkosh to go perform.
Listen,
I got it.
I drove to a lot of really bad one-nighters, great distances. So you never know. You never know what people will do for that limelight.
Just the chance to be on stage.
Oh, there's no bad job. Even the guy who cleans up after the elephants in show business. Let's spin it one more time.
Madison.
All right. Well, this is actually anywhere in Wisconsin.
That's true.
We originated in Madison because of...
that's where the DOT is.
That's where the DOT is, exactly. So, vanity license plates are an acquired taste.
Mm-hmm. Do you have one?
I do not. I don't. Yeah, no.
Me either.
The plates can send a personal message or your support for a team, cause, or military service. Wisconsin currently offers 60 special plates, and now the Department of Transportation is adding one to the list. The DOT announced today that a new vanity plate has been released that will allow drivers to support 2 native crane species.
Okay.
The Cranes of Wisconsin plate, designed by Wisconsin artist Jay Jocham, features 2 species, the endangered whooping crane and the sandhill crane. The crane plates join over 10 other Wisconsin license plates to benefit environmental organizations that support conservation efforts across the state. So in addition to the $15 issuance fee, the specialized plates come with an annual tax-deductible donation of $25 to the corresponding organization.
Okay.
So proceeds generated by the Cranes of Wisconsin license plate benefit the International Crane Foundation, also known as ICF, a global organization with headquarters in Baraboo, Wisconsin.
If I brought 2 cranes in here, would you be able to tell the difference?
Of what's a whooping crane and what's a sandhill crane?
Yeah.
No.
Neither me either. I'd go, I could probably identify them as cranes. I could probably get that far.
So you've not reached the point in your life where bird watching has become appealing?
Ornithology is not yet my passion.
I love the memes that were like, someday you just wake up. It's like, I think it's like the same day as like as a woman you start shopping at Chico's. You're like, oh, this is my style now.
Is Chico's even still a thing?
Chico's is absolutely a thing.
Okay.
Debbie Bryan loves Chico's.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I admire, like if a bird lands in front, I go, oh, look at that bird. But I'm not going to go wandering around going, oh.
You're not going to be like, I know that is a corn-speckled Oriole.
No.
No. I don't think that's not a thing.
I'm lucky if I can identify cornflakes in the morning. All right, that's Spinning the State. You want to get more details on the crane story or anything else? Text SPIN, S-P-I-N, to 855-616-1620. Okay, Kristen and I are both pet owners. We have dogs. You might have a pet. You know, if you have a pet, it is an expensive proposition sometimes. And you also might wonder, boy, this veterinary clinic thing, that's big business. You would be right. But a Wisconsin veterinarian has started a model of veterinary care that hopefully will catch on across the country. We'll talk to Dr. John Daly after this on Spanning the State.
New president, new economic policy. 2025 will be a season of change, especially when it comes to your taxes. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano with another free webinar from Annex Wealth Management. Text WEB to the WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620. Sign up now and have your questions answered. Set up financial success for the new year. Text WEB to the WTMJ talk and text line with another free webinar from Annex Wealth Management.
Buying or selling a home is a big deal, literally. It's one of the largest financial transactions you're likely to make. So work with someone who will work with your best interests in mind. Someone who agrees to operate with transparency, honesty, and fairness every step of the way. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and are bound by a strict code of ethics that requires they put your interests above their own. Because that's who we are. Make sure your agent is a Realtor.
Tired of ads interrupting your favorite news podcasts? Good news! Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Stay up to date on everything newsworthy with podcasts like The Daily, Up First, and 5 Things Uninterrupted at Amazon.com/ad-free. Just head to Amazon.com/ad-free to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's Dave from Feldco. Did drafty windows make last winter frigid? Listen, Feldco's here to make things easier for you. It's the perfect time of year to replace those old windows. Right now, get 50% off windows plus no money down and no interest for 1 year. Visit us at 4feldco.com or give us a call at 866-4Feldco.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866-4Feldco.
Hey, it's Kristen Bry, and I officially have a new dentist. I just had my first cleaning and checkup last week with Dr. James Michaels at Economowalk Dental Care, and his staff, and he was just awesome. So if you want your best smile for holiday photos that are coming up, or if you haven't been to the dentist for a while, or if you are scared of the dentist, you are not alone, whatever reason you have for needing a new dentist, I am here to tell you to go see Dr. Michaels. He understands your fears, your apprehension about going to see a new dentist, and will make sure that you are on the best care plan to get you happy and confident about your smile. So whether you need a simple cleaning and exam, you want those pearly whites to be a little whiter, a more complex procedure, or even need an implant because you got a tooth missing, Economowalk Dental will always make you feel comfortable and make sure you and your family have an amazing smile. So if you're worried about costs, which I don't blame you, at Economowalk Dental Care, affordable quality dentistry is not a dream. It's a reality because Dr. Michael's fantastic staff can help you with a no-interest payment plan. We all have to go to the dentist, so do not put it off any longer. Call and make an appointment today, 262-567-7224. You deserve to feel confident about your smile, so go see my new dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economowalk Dental Care. And welcome back to Spade and Say. It's still Kristen Bry.
And I'm Brian Noonan. And my teeth are hideous. No, that's not true. According to Forbes Advisor, 66% of U.S. households own a pet. And that would, if you just went by this sample size of this show, that is correct. 66% of us own a pet.
Yeah, 2 out of 3.
Essential dog expenses, which include vet care, grooming, food, and treats, average about $1,533 a year based on numbers from the Pew Research Institute. Hearing those numbers and based on your own experience, you probably know that veterinary clinics are a big business. So big, in fact, that at least 25% of general practice veterinary clinics are owned by corporations. It's estimated that that number could grow to 60% over the next decade, but one veterinarian in Wisconsin has no interest in being part of the corporate machine and has developed a first-of-its-kind co-op model for veterinary care. Dr. John Daly from the Spring Green Animal Hospital joins us now to talk about it. Dr. Daly, thanks for being here.
Thanks. I grew up in Milwaukee and only left to go to vet school back in 1988.
Oh.
Well, we're glad you're back. So how did you develop this idea for cooperative veterinary care?
About 5 years ago, I was getting older, and my partner and my wife's partner, who's also a veterinarian, were starting to look into succession planning as we were getting to our late 50s, and came to realize that the majority of small veterinary practices, in order to continue on, were mostly being purchased by corporations rather than other veterinarians, which in the past was the typical model of ownership, where somebody you might have worked with as a doctor for years would take over the practice. And as student debt increased and other factors changed in the market, a lot of the young doctors weren't able to take on that additional financial burden. So corporations were stepping in and seeing that the veterinary market was a profitable market, especially after the recession in 2008, 2009. The private equity markets looked around and saw that this was one profession that was pretty immune to financial downturns, because people still wanted to care for their pets, and no matter what their financial situation was, they continued to do that. And so they started buying up small practices, and like you mentioned earlier, the ownership of general veterinary practices used to be maybe 5% corporate ownership 15 years ago, and now it's much, much higher. And emergency and specialty practices, they're 75% owned by corporations now. And what they would essentially do is they would buy small consolidators would buy up a bunch of practices, then they would sell to a bigger consolidator and a bigger consolidator, and eventually they would be owned by some of the biggest corporations in the country.
So are we talking like private equity firms, or like what corporations are we talking about?
Yeah, I'm not a financial expert or an economics expert by any means, but private equity had a lot of money to throw at this, billions and billions of dollars, and that's mostly the driving force behind it.
Well, one of the companies that surprised me is Mars Candy Company. They make Snickers and M&Ms, and they're one of the biggest corporate owners in veterinary care.
Yeah, eventually these smaller consolidators would get gobbled up, and Mars is kind of the big corporation that would end up buying these groups of practices that these smaller consolidators were purchasing.
So then on the flip side, how does a co-op model work when applied to a veterinarian practice?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically just a different business ownership model that basically brings the democracy down to the workplace. And, as I looked around the country and saw, some challenges to our own democracy and thought about, well, what's something I could do to help, and wanted to also be prepared to have these practices go on in these small communities, I realized, this could be a nice model for ownership for these small veterinary practices, and started to research it. And essentially the way it works is employees get to buy in and become owners. And then the way our structure works is everyone worked together with the help of the UW Center for Cooperatives and developed bylaws for the legal business structure. And every owner gets to have an equal vote in the say of business matters. So one owner equals one vote, and they get to also partake in the profits, if there are any, from the business, and that's distributed at the end of the year. And in a cooperative, that's called patronage. And in our business model, we set it up so that it didn't matter whether you were a veterinarian or a veterinary assistant or somebody caring for animals in our boarding facility. Each person was given an equal share of the profits based on how many hours they worked, not the role they had.
Wow, that's fantastic. It all sounds good from a business perspective. How does that model benefit pets and their owners?
Well, I always want to be careful with this part of it, because I feel like veterinarians, veterinary technicians, veterinary assistants, everyone that goes into this profession goes into it because they love animals, they want to take care of animals, and it doesn't always matter where they work. They're all trying to do that to the best of their ability. But when they're within structures that have strictly a profit motive, I mean, everyone has to make enough money to run a business and pay employees well, and have, pay for health insurance and all those other things. But when a practice is owned by a corporation, they have certain metrics and bottom lines that the employees have to try to meet. And so there are pressures there that aren't necessarily there when they are the owners and get to participate in making those decisions.
So pressures to like upsell or more testing or things like that, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like I've not personally worked in one of those practices, but some people that have said that they've felt those pressures.
Okay.
And then what also happens is over time, like in Milwaukee, if 50-60% of the practices eventually are all owned by corporations, you have less and less ability as doctors and technicians to basically decide how these practices are run. They all end up getting owned by the same places, and then those companies make decisions for the people that work there that they don't get to participate in at all.
Now, Dr. Daly, but you are the first veterinary clinic to put this model into play. Have you been approached yet by other vets around the country who are saying, how's this working? We were thinking about doing this too.
Yeah, I've had people reach out. We've had a few news stories in the veterinary community about us. As far as we know, we are the first practice to try to do this. It's a different model. It takes a lot of work, a lot of meetings. And I have had various people reach out to me. There's another practice I just met the members of out in Seattle that's doing this that just opened in the last couple of weeks, and they're doing it at a slightly larger scale than we are. I've had some conversations with them to see how things are working for them, but I hope that more and more people will reach out to us and want to try this model out in their practices so that we keep the ownership at a local level.
Well, it's a fascinating story. Dr. Daly, we're very happy you joined us today. Thanks very much. Dr. John Daly, Spring Green Animal Hospital. If you're in that area and you want local veterinarians to, not corporate-owned monoliths, go to Spring Green Animal Hospital. Thanks, Dr. Daly.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back, well, there's news and all kinds of stuff on Spanning the State.
The Political Power Hour with Steve Scafidi.
So he throws on a costume, moves the drop box, never discussed it with the actual administrator of elections.
Hearing from political experts from across Wisconsin and beyond.
So you're going to take the law into your own hands and remove it yourself. That's nothing but, in my mind, pure vandalism, and he should have been charged.
Jim?
And the hard hat doesn't legitimize it either, right?
Wearing costumes doesn't make you look more important.
Weekdays from 9 to 10 on WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, owner of Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage. I get that most home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting pre-approved. But that's probably a mistake, because banks have a lot of overhead, like branches, fancy headquarters, and layers of management. That means their closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 higher than AccuNet's for exactly the same rate. And that's not all. Bank pre-approval letters are usually weak and unconvincing, especially compared to AccuNet's rock-solid, fully verified pre-approval that provides a $2,000 guarantee to you and the seller. Our senior loan consultants will also look at every possible way to strengthen your offer and pre-approval in the eyes of that seller, especially if you're offering over the asking price. We even call the listing agent to reinforce what a great buyer you are. Banks don't do all that. Click on the blue button today at AccuNet.com and let our passionate mortgage pros help you win while you save a bunch of money, too. That's ACCUNET.com.
When you walk into your bathroom, is it turn this into this? With our SiteX Creepiest Tub or Shower Contest. Enter a picture of your creepy tub or shower space at WTMJ.com for a chance to win a brand new complete tub or shower conversion installed at no cost, up to a $10,000 value. Enter your picture by texting creepy to the WTMJ talk and text line. It's the Creepiest Shower Contest, only here on WTMJ.
Hello, friends. You got about 10 minutes? You want a chance to win tickets to the Bucks and an overnight stay at the Pfister? Then all you need to do is participate in the WTMJ Fall 2024 Fan Survey. Like I said, it takes less than 10 minutes to complete it, and we're asking for your feedback. So all you have to do is text SURVEY to the WTMJ talk and text line at 855-616-1620. And once you do that, we'll send you a survey link. As a thank you for participating, once you complete the survey, you'll be entered to win those Bucks tickets that I mentioned and an overnight stay at the Pfister. Survey.
This is a special report from ABC News, Hurricane Milton. I'm Michelle Franzen. The window to evacuate in Florida closing fast as Hurricane Milton barrels towards the state. Hillsborough Sheriff Chad Cronister telling residents it's now time to shelter.
There's no more fuel. The port is closed. Grocery stores are closed. This is when it's time to keep you and your loved ones safe.
The storm now packing 130-mile-per-hour winds, expected to hit near Tampa as a Category 3 hurricane. Meteorologist Elise Smith says this will be catastrophic and life-threatening.
It's going to dump that heavy torrential rain across the center part of the state, so the flood risk even extends away from the coast. We're talking from Tampa through Orlando all the way to Daytona Beach and an extreme flash flood risk where we could see easily 5 inches to a foot of rain fall in less than 12 hours.
This is ABC News.
Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 2:31. I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story. We Energy's workers from southeastern Wisconsin are headed to Florida right now to help with Hurricane Milton. More than 24 workers hit the road this morning. We Energy's sister utility, WPS, is also sending about 25 workers to help in Florida. They left from Green Bay this morning to help restore power. A former pastor pleads not guilty in a case connected to intimate photos. 41-year-old Gabriel Mills made his first court appearance today on 2 felony charges, accused of transferring intimate photos. He was a pastor at Journey Church in Kenosha when investigators say he borrowed the victim's phone, scrolled to an intimate photos of the victim, then sent the photos to himself without that child's consent. A Sussex woman is now charged with a felony after her 15-month-old daughter died of a fentanyl overdose. Elida Tejeda, 34 years old, faces 1 count of child neglect causing death. Despite life-saving efforts, the toddler did die an hour after this happened. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the green. Dow up even more to 410, almost a percentage point today at 42,490. S&P 500 up 36, NASDAQ up 93. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex at Night. Details at annexwealth.com. All right, we still have something going on in Fox Point on 43 North. It's closed at Port Washington Road because of an incident, and that backup's so bad right now. It's going all the way to Highland Avenue downtown. Looks like that backup will spill into the Marquette interchange. Please avoid if you can. And 43 North at Keefe and Atkinson Avenue, the right lane is blocked. There's a disabled vehicle causing some major slowdowns. I also see stop-and-go traffic on 94 eastbound from 25th to Mitchell, and then it clears up. Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, clear skies, 44 inland, 51 at the lake. Thursday, sunny and mild. Really nice. 70 at the lake, 75 inland. Friday, pick day, high of 80. It'll be warm. Saturday, partly cloudy, cooler, 64. Sunday, chance of scattered showers, breezy, a high of 59. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 2:33.
Hey, Sweetest Day is almost here. Don't forget your sweetheart. WTMJ's John Merck here. I highly recommend taking your love to the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club near Holy Hill to witness the spectacular fall colors of the Kettle Moraine Forest. It's romantic. It's great food. And when you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free, even on Sweetest Day. Your favorite steak, ribs, salmon, a big fresh salad, the steak and lobster, any dinner on the menu. You buy one dinner, you get one free. Desserts and ice cream drinks. That's great on Sweetest Day. Also, buy one, get one free. Celebrate with a hand-muddled old-fashioned. 20 bourbons to choose from, over 100 wines, ice-cold beer, 8 elegant dining rooms. The Fox and Hounds is a Top Choice Award winner for most romantic restaurant, and your second dinner is free. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of Holy Hill, the breathtaking fall colors surrounding the Fox and Hounds is a Wisconsin must-see. Reserve your Sweetest Day table today. They fill quickly with that free dinner. FoxandHoundsRestaurant.com.
My overall experience with Gruber Law Offices has been phenomenal.
The treatment was excellent.
They will be supportive of you. They will listen to you.
It was a great experience knowing that I had people to help me.
I know I could count on them to do what I needed to get done.
Experience with Gruber was great.
They gave me my life back.
It was amazing.
He gets results.
We know how to win. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices had my best interests at heart.
Hey, it's Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristen Bry. And earlier today, the Wisconsin Supreme Court heard oral arguments in a lawsuit challenging Governor Tony Evers' last-minute budget maneuver last year that increased funding for Wisconsin school districts for the next 400 years.
Wait a minute, 400?
Yes, 400. Unless technology gets a lot better, none of us will be alive when this thing expires. Unless the Wisconsin Supreme Court decides to stop it. Yes, so thanks to a weird Wisconsin law where governors have partial veto authority that allows them to just cross out certain words or even just certain characters that basically every governor has taken advantage of since, I think, the 1930s. School funding could increase for the next 400 years. So joining us now is Wisconsin Watch State House reporter Jack Kelly, who was there this morning covering the hearing. Jack, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
So is there anything you would include in the background of the partial veto authority or the case at hand?
I mean, you did a pretty good job. When it comes down to it, and you look at the actual language and how we got to this point, it is so bizarre. So basically, just to give you a little 30,000-foot overview, they passed the legislature passed the budget bill and wanted school districts to be able to increase their revenue limit for the next 2 years, the 2 fiscal years of the budget. Using his veto pen, the governor managed to strike out a series of words and characters like you had mentioned and changed it so that the revenue limit could be increased every year from 2023 to 2425, which is 402 years and would go on for another 4 centuries, as you mentioned. So, yeah, you did a good job. You hit it right on the head.
Okay, great.
Wow. So who brought the lawsuit?
The lawsuit was filed on behalf of 2 Wisconsin residents. The one that's named in the case is, I believe it's pronounced Lemieux, but it was filed on their behalf by Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce Litigation Center. And so this is kind of a 501(c) nonprofit affiliate of WMC, which is the state's kind of biggest and most powerful business lobby, typically conservative aligned.
So then knowing that Governor Walker had done this, Tommy Thompson has done this, like this is not the first time this weird veto power has been used. What is the argument that they're making?
Yeah, so the argument is twofold, and I believe it was Justice Janet Protasiewicz today that actually pointed this out. Other governors have done similar things. There just wasn't litigation about it, and so we find our point we find ourselves at this point now. So basically, they're arguing kind of 2 things. First is this provision in the Constitution about partial vetoes, which says that a governor may approve an appropriation bill in part. They're contending that since he actually extended this for 400 years rather than, say, cutting it in half so it only existed for 1 year, he didn't, in fact, approve the bill in part. He extrapolated the bill and approved more than the bill, which he shouldn't be able to do. And then there's the second part, which is where, kind of gets fun. You get the silly name in there. It goes back to this 1990 referendum vote on a constitutional amendment that was seeking to ban so-called Vanna White vetoes or pick-a-letter vetoes. And they're basically arguing that because he struck certain letters and certain words to create this new number, that is a Vanna White veto and therefore should be unconstitutional based on this provision. Though, critically, in 1990, the provision said that you couldn't strike individual letters. It didn't say anything about striking digits. So that was a piece of the arguments today in court.
And how are the justices reacting to these arguments?
Yeah, it was really interesting. Many of them, of course, we have the 4-3 split of ideologically, 4 liberal justices, 3 conservative justices. They were all skeptical in some way, shape, or form. Some of them were skeptical of the argument that this was, in fact, a Vanna White veto because the amendment says letters and this concerns digits, and so they're taking a very literal reading of what the amendment was. So generally, there seemed to be some consensus that the governor being able to change this thing and going on for 400 years is kind of shocking. I think Janet Protasiewicz said that it raises eyebrows and almost seems outlandish. So it was hard to tell exactly where they came down on it. They seemed skeptical that this violated the Constitution based under the amendment, though they did, maybe seem open to doing kind of a narrow ruling, which would basically say that, a governor couldn't extend something beyond what was already in the bill.
So then, is there much clarification on, like, let's say they come back with a ruling that changes what was, as of right now, approved in the budget? Does anything happen with the working budget for this year and next year, or what happens if they roll it back to what the governor actually did?
Right. That's a really great question, and the answer is not totally clear.
Okay.
So there's kind of 2 ways that this could happen. There's the idea that they could remand this in some capacity to the governor and basically say, try vetoing this again and do it without violating, our ruling based on, however it comes down. There's also a chance that they just issue the ruling, and the result of it is that the budget bill is just in effect in the way that lawmakers, when they passed it out of the legislature, intended it to be. So it would just be that the budget bill just reads the original text, and the revenue limit increase is only applicable for the 2 fiscal years.
Okay. Has there been any pushback from Vanna White on this?
We heard from Vanna.
We've not heard from Vanna in this instance. I was actually, when I was researching the story that I wrote previewing this earlier this week, she actually, back in 1990, there's a Cap Time story on this, she sent somebody in the legislature, I think it was one of the bills, the amendments, kind of like chief sponsors. She actually sent him like an autographed photo, kind of commemorating and celebrating the passage of the constitutional amendment, which was kind of funny because if you're Vanna White, wouldn't you want people to be, employing the Vanna White veto all the time so you keep coming up?
Maybe, yeah. I love that even pre-social media that it got back to her that Wisconsin was invoking her name for state law. All right, the final question, Jack, before we let you go. When is it expected to have any kind of ruling on this?
Yeah, that's a great question. The court, believe it or not, has a lot going on right now. They're going to be considering a series of high-profile cases this fall in this term. And, of course, there's also the little matter of the election. And the Wisconsin Supreme Court has been asked to weigh in on matters of election administration. Of course, there was the big kind of knockdown, drag-out in the post-election period about whether or not the state's election results should be overturned. So there's going to be some things going on. I would not expect an immediate ruling on this. So we could be looking at, a couple or even a few months before we get a ruling.
All right. Well, Jack Kelly, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
He is a State House reporter for Wisconsin Watch. All right, citing Unlimited News Time, 2:43. It's Spanning the State.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
When you need to sell quickly, choose Grandview to buy your home. Don't worry about real estate agents or showings. We'll buy your home as is, no repairs or cleanouts needed, and you'll get an offer in hours. Visit GrandviewHomes.com for your fair cash offer today.
Hi, I'm Tony Drake. Are you sure you're getting the most out of Social Security benefits? At Drake & Associates, we know that maximizing your Social Security is critical for a secure retirement. With the right strategy, you can potentially increase your lifetime benefits and secure a better future. But navigating the rules and timing can be complex. Don't leave your benefits to chance. Text SS to 414-409-9982 today to schedule a complimentary consultation and receive a free retirement ready toolkit. That's SS to 414-409-9982. Drake & Associates. Plan smart, retire happy.
Drake & Associates is an independent investment advisory firm that offers different investment vehicles. All insurance products are backed by the issuing insurance company. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only.
You know, sometimes when you hear a radio ad like this one, you think, yeah, maybe I should look into this. But you never do. Hi, Andy Haver here, owner of Progress Manufacturing in West Bend. Like many of you, I've heard radio ads for QC Kinetics. So I finally went to check them out because I've had chronic bursitis in my elbow for many years. I got cortisone shots, but those quickly stopped working. My doctor told me that the only solution for my bursitis was surgery. After my initial free consultation, The medical professionals at QC Kinetics designed a treatment plan specific for me. I'm really happy I went because QC Kinetics helped me be pain-free with no drugs, surgery, or downtime, and their entire staff was friendly and made me feel comfortable. My only regret is that I didn't call them sooner. Lasting joint pain is just a phone call away. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474 with locations in Mequon and Greenfield.
Hey, welcome back to Spanning the State. I'm Kristen Bry.
I'm Brian Noonan. More than 8 million Americans live with type 1 diabetes, otherwise known as T1D. WTMJ's Eric Bilstad tells the story of a Pewaukee High School basketball player and her ability to thrive with T1D on and off the court.
Anna Tarian loves basketball.
I just like the adrenaline of the game. I love the team aspect of it.
She's been playing essentially all her life.
I was dribbling the basketball before I could walk. I just fell in love with it from the moment I stepped in the gym. And then once I could play, I was like, I love this even more.
And she plays while living with type 1 diabetes.
I was a little nervous, a little scared of what the future will look like, if I was being honest.
Anna was diagnosed with T1D in the spring of 2023. In fact, it happened while she was on a recruiting trip for college.
I was just not feeling so well, so my mom took me into a walk-in clinic, and before you know it, they took my blood sugar, and it was 647, and the rest was history.
You see, a normal blood sugar is 80. Anna's was more than 600.
I was just nervous because you don't really know. We didn't really know anything of T1D. I just wanted to get home when I found out. I didn't want to stay in the hospital.
T1D is an autoimmune disease. The pancreas can no longer produce insulin, which controls sugar levels in your body. Therefore, someone with T1D needs to control their blood sugar at all times, 24 hours a day. A blood sugar too low can mean seizures, falling unconscious, comas, or even worse. And a blood sugar too high can lead to catastrophic issues inside your body, like organ failure or even a loss of limbs.
A lot of questions filled my head when I found out. So just all those feelings and thoughts were just racing through my head. How'd
your parents take it? Were they doing okay?
Yeah, they were hanging in there. I could tell they were trying to be strong for me because I was a mess, but it was a lot of tears and emotions running through them, but they held strong for the most part.
And for Anna, what would it mean for her favorite pastime?
My biggest question was if I would ever be able to play basketball again and at a high level, and then thinking of college, how that would look like.
But this plucky teenager has figured it out. It takes a lot of discipline and management and technology, but Anna is succeeding, both on and off the court.
We came back home and got all the training and all the things here connected to children's, and we've been thriving ever since.
Anna wears a continuous glucose monitor, which measures her blood sugar in real time. She also wears an insulin pump, which provides her life-saving medication 24 hours a day.
If you think about finding a cure, that's the first step, is getting on a CGM and insulin pump, because it makes your life so much easier with T1D. It's truly life-changing.
And how are you feeling? You feeling good? You feeling like you have control of everything?
Yes. Every day is different, and keeping an open mind, positive attitude always helps. But it's going well. It's an adjustment to go back to school, I'll tell you that. Every year's different, but just having a good community and support system is really key to helping me succeed every day with my T1D.
And as far as basketball goes,
it's super exciting that my sister and I can play together at Michigan State, so we're super excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's pretty awesome. That's right. Both Anna and her twin sister Amy are joining the Spartans.
Diabetes refuses to stick to its script. A lot more patience, practice, perseverance, preparation, that all goes into it. But if you have a great support system, a great community, you can actually manage it and control it.
Well, that's a great story Eric, who also lives with type 1 diabetes, is emceeing the Breakthrough T1D Walk at Greenfield Park. If you're interested in donating to his walk team or learning more about Anna, text the word WALK to the WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620. It's certainly something you don't think about.
No.
I feel like you hear a lot about type 1 diabetes, but you don't think about all of the realities of living with it.
Well, my wife has T1D.
Really?
And so
I didn't know that.
I have learned what I've learned just from being with her. And all the things that Eric was talking about in the piece, it's like, oh, yeah, I deal with that. Or I don't deal with it.
But
I watch my
with
wife
it.
deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know when those blood sugar levels are high or real low, man, it messes people up.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, again, if you text WALK to WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620, we will send you a link to learn more about Anna and the T1D Walk at the Greenfield Park later this month. All right. We'll head back. We'll come back in just a minute and wrap things up. Right, Brian?
Sounds good. It's spanning the state.
Wisconsin volleyball has a new home.
It's match point in Madison.
Catch all the excitement of the 2024 season.
Booth and Smack putting up that Wisconsin wall.
And don't miss out on moments like this.
Booth dunks it down with two hands, and that's a point for Wisconsin. Set Smack, kill Franklin.
Badgers volleyball on WTMJ is presented by Steinhoffels. Don't miss any of the action right here on Wisconsin's radio station, 620 WTMJ.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. So many of you have told me about your plans for the future. Starting a business, buying a home, retiring near your grandchildren. But prices are too high. So let me tell you what I will do about it as president. I will take on price gouging. I will lower the cost of healthcare insurance. We cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. I'm running to do that for everyone. And I will provide new down payment assistance to first-time home buyers and tax benefits to people who want to start their own business. Donald Trump, well, he wants to give more tax breaks to the wealthy, whereas I will cut taxes for the middle class instead. Because I know working people want to do more than just get by. You want to get ahead, and that's the future you deserve. And that is what I will focus on every day as your president. Paid for by Harris for President.
Siding Unlimited named the best window installers, not just here, but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited, 3-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows, you call Siding Unlimited first and directly. SidingUnlimited.com.
In 1964, we were making strides towards space travel.
Mary Poppins was the #1 movie in theaters.
And the Beatles were taking America by storm.
Which was long before I was born.
Facts. 1964 is also the year it all started for Richland's Tire and Service Centers. 60 years of continuous growth and more happy customers than you can shake a stick at.
Okay, the streamers are a bit overkill. It's just us in the studio.
All right. But it's important to know accomplishments like these aren't possible without a dedicated team. So hats off to them and our founder, my dad, Dick Mitchke, for understanding the importance of customer focus.
Facts. There's no 60 years of anything without you, the customer, which is why our focus will remain on you and only you for years to come.
Thank you from all of us here at Richland's Tire and Service Centers.
Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Injuries happen, but you don't have to play in pain or stay on the sidelines. Whether it's your kids dealing with a sports injury, college athletes, or the rest of us weekend warriors, the experts at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin will quickly diagnose your problem, lay out a treatment plan that works for you, and get you back in the game. They fixed my knee. My mother-in-law is back on the dance floor with a new hip. These are the experts you can trust. Visit orthowisconsin.com.
I believe it's time for me to fly.
Indeed, it is time for us to fly.
Already?
Our hump day is over.
Yes, now it's all downhill from here. Until tomorrow, when we come
tomorrow.
back.
Pam Youngie's going to join us. It's been a while.
We haven't talked to Pam. I don't know what she's been up to.
July? Is that the last time we talked to Pam?
Could it be that long?
I know we talked to her during the RNC.
All right. I don't know, but she's got a lot to talk about. She was at the the World Dairy Expo last week. So she's going to tell us about that, and there's some other agricultural issues that Pam wants to address. So we will talk to her, and then we've got
we got a new
Triple
P. So Positive Parenting Program is now available in Wisconsin. So it's Children's of Wisconsin and Positive Parenting Program, the Triple P is short for that.
Sure.
They announced a statewide public health launch of a free resource for Wisconsin parents and caregivers that provides online learning tools to support families. So we're going to learn more about that. Free.
If it's free, it's
resource.
For me. I love it. A free resource.
Yeah, so that and much, much more tomorrow.
All right.
Then we got another day after that. And
Wisconsin's Afternoon News coming up next. John Mercure still jetting around the globe, so Amy Taylor will be in with Julia. That's a nice life. That John Mercure, he's got a good deal.
To get paid to go on vacation?
Man. I got to get some of those. We got
to get some of those listeners, those expanding people who want to go overseas with us.
Where do you want to go with us? Just send it in 855.
Put it on the survey 855-616-1620.
All right, we got to go.
See you tomorrow.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.